Alright, welcome guys. As you can see behind me, right over here, we're looking at a gigantic stupa. We're in Nakhon Pathom. Took a short little drive, about an hour outside of Bangkok, to come over here and look at this Chedi and the little white Chedi right there. So let me show you around and tell you the story about this place. Okay, so here we are looking at the largest Buddha monument in the world. It's even larger than the one in India that's built of a similar style as this. So we're here at the Nakhon Pathom Chedi. Okay, so right here at the base of the Chedi, they have a kind of a Khmer style Buddha, and then you can see the Chedi itself. Now there's quite a bit to this as far as the history. So parts of the history go back to even pre-Khmer, to the Sawanapun era. So the Sawanapun built a little building here, and it was just the kind of the bottom part that you see. And then when the Khmer came into this region in like the 7th century, 6th and 7th century, they added to it. So as you can see, it's a series of rings on the bottom, and it has kind of a bell shape. And then on top, that was kind of the original part right there. And then they've added to it up on the top, all the way up to another series of rings all the way to the top. So about 2,000 years ago is when this was first built. And then the Khmer added to it, and it was abandoned around 1000. And then in the early 1800s, monks started coming back into this region, and then they refurbished it and they started building it on. And then the final part, the top spire that you see up there, that was put on in the 1870s by King Chulalongkorn. And so it stands at about 115 meters, I believe, something like that. And it is the tallest Buddhist structure in the world. And it has right next to it another little Chedi. And this is dedicated to Wai Hom, I believe her name is. So this is one of the most important pilgrimage sites for Buddhists to come here. It has a lot of history. It's really, really old. It's also, the size is amazing. The tiles that you see are kind of gold colored, and they were brought in from China to put on the outside of this temple. And the story goes that there was a king of this area. It was like Nakhon Chasari or something like that. And a monk told him that he would be killed by his son. So he had a young boy, and instead of killing his son, he decided to stick his son on a raft, and he sent him down the river into the jungle just to kind of banish him. And he was found on the river by an old woman named Yi Hom. And that's the significance of this Chedi right here. Now, Yi Hom raised this son, and he was kind of a, like under the control of king that controlled Ratchaburi. And he was a vassal of that king. And anyway, years later, he ran into his father, and he fought his father in like a battle, and he killed his father. And then when he goes home, he tells the old lady that raised him, Yi Hom, that he killed the king. And she said, "You killed your father." And so in his anger, he kills the old woman with the one stroke of his sword, Yi Hom. And so now he's killed his father, plus he's killed the old woman. So he was going to kill himself. So he goes out to a temple and tells the monks that he's going to commit suicide. And they said, "No, you've already committed 2 grave sins. So you would commit a 3rd grade sin by killing yourself." So they instructed him to build a temple that would reach into the sky as high as the doves fly. And that is how he built this temple right here. So he built this temple as high as the doves could fly in dedication to his father. And then he built the little white temple, or the little white Chedi, I'm sorry, in remembrance of the old woman Yi Hom that he killed. So that is the story of like the history of this, or kind of the the saying of it. And as you can see, they have some old parts of the temple right around around the base of the Chedi. And this was also under control of the Burmese. There's a lot of stuff that's happened here. The Burmese apparently, whenever this was abandoned around 1000, they tried to dig up the holy relics out of this temple and take it back to Burma. But they don't have any real records of any of the holy relics being taken. They just know that the Burmese tried to dig them up. So this is really, really cool. All around the base of it, they have all these like old Buddha statues, all kinds of stuff. Let's go through this little door here. This leads us right up to the base of the Chedi. And so this is inside the first little ring that you see. And so part of the pilgrimage is you come here and you circle around the base of this Chedi. It's real common to go around these things 3 times. I think you're supposed to go around it clockwise, but I don't know. I'm not a Buddhist, so underneath like the little like circle building that goes all around the base of the Chedi. I have all this made out of wood with some gold inlaid and painted up. And I'm not sure if that talks about some of the famous monks or contributors or what. It's all in Thai, so I can't make any of that out. And then they have the pictures of like King Rama IX and the monks. Like I said, this is one of the most holy places in Thailand for people to come. So this thing, I just can't even really tell you how massive this Chedi is. So as you can see, it's kind of built with this little archway, and this outer building circles the base of the Chedi. And up here, I have part of the temple. I'll figure find my way in there. You can't get to it from here. But on the Chedi itself, you see there is a little gold Buddha. They got it covered in glass, probably to keep the birds out. But I've been up to Chiang Mai and seen the Chedi Luang, and that was pretty cool. But the condition of this is much better because the Chedi Luang has fallen down while this has all been completely restored. Okay, so here is the way into that little building that I could see from around the base. You can see some people in here praying. And all the old images that have been painted into the wall. So people also come in here and pray to Rama 10, and on the left over there is Rama 9. Those images have almost all faded off there. So they kind of have a little part of the temple down here with some of the Chinese stuff. You can see the painting of the pillars. Says what it is about up there, but I can't read the Thai. And then right next to that is the Phra Pathom Chedi Museum. Let's see if we can get in there. Okay, so it looks like I'll just have to look around. No photography or filming. As you can see, they got a lot of the old artifacts up here from the renovation. All of that is out here. So let's look around. All right, so the museum was free to get into, but it wasn't really what you'd call a museum, what you'd be expecting. They had a lot of the little like amulets that the Thais wear, like around their neck, and then they had some of the old fans. Probably the most interesting thing that I saw that was in there is they have all kinds of old money. So they had like old Thai money that I've never seen. They had Thai money with Rama 5 in there on it. They had money from all around the world just up in like these cases on the wall. They had money from Gambia, from Libya, from the United States, from England, from all over the world. And it was kind of cool because they actually had some old silver certificates from the United States, which are worth quite a bit of money now. And they're just hanging up in the cases on the wall. All right, so let's go back over and look around the Chedi more and around the base on the outside of that inner wall. Just some more of the little Chedis and stuff that have been built up over the years. This is quite nice. They have trees for shade, but it still is pretty hot. And then you can see this has that building built around the base, and then more of the Chedi up there. And of course they have the bells and stuff that you can come and ring. And it's built right, this is right in the middle of Nakhon Pathom. So the city kind of circles around it. There's not a whole lot to do in this little town. There's a couple more things. There's a couple floating markets and all of that. But the Chedi is the main thing that you come to Nakhon Pathom to see. So around the base of the Chedi, they have all these little shrines all over. This one here is one of the gold standing Buddha. A lot of Thai people are out here making some merit to this. And they have the whole place set up. You can buy the flowers, and they have the monks here to do the blessings and everything. And they have somebody giving out some words of wisdom, I guess, on the speaker. And they do have a lot of Chinese stuff. So you see a lot of the Chinese influence. I wonder if it's because of the roof tiles were donated by China, or if the Chinese Buddhists will come over here also. And they have the candles, and then the little portals. Okay, so we're all the way back inside to the inner ring again. As you can see, there's the little walkway, so you can circle the Chedi in the shade. Let's go up here and see what's on the base of the Chedi itself. A little flight of stairs. And then here it is. As you can see, they have it wrapped in this fabric. That's really common. And I've saw some people outside that were writing their names on this. So you can come up, before they hang it, you can write your name on the inside of this, and they'll hang it up, and you can make some merit for some of your family. This is just, I can't even get over how gigantic it is. 115 meters tall. It is really impressive. And like I said before, all these tiles were brought in from China. And they restored it around the 1870s under King Chulalongkorn. And here's some people who wrote their names on it. And then left some flowers here for part of their blessing. And looking back down inside that ring, have a Buddha statue there, and what it looks like. I did see some people that were walking around doing the 3 laps around the Chedi. All right, so I was talking to some of the locals here, and they're doing their laps around the temple. So they're actually going to do it 4 times. They're not just going to do it 3. They want a little bit of extra luck today. So the Chedi is just right here in the middle of town. Now, right outside of the little temple grounds, they have a night market. It's closed right now, but they set it up with tons and tons of food. So I'll have to come back here another day to check that out. And they also have, some other stuff that's built kind of around the base. So, you have like a drum and like a Chinese style Buddha and all of that. And then the stairs going in, the Naga. You have the normal stuff, but the main thing you come here for is the Chedi. And way up there is the top of the structure. All right, guys, so that finishes up our little tour of Nakhon Pathom Chedi. It was pretty neat. I enjoyed this a lot. It's a little hot, but there's a breeze today that's kind of kept me cooled off. And it's pretty easy to get overheated when you're out here walking around on these floor tiles and all that in the sun. But yeah, this is really quite cool. I've never been here before, so this was the first time seeing it. And like I said earlier, it's the largest, freestanding Buddha shrine or Buddha structure in the world. It's colossal. The pictures aren't even going to do justice to how big this Chedi really is. But hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you click like and subscribe to my channel and share it. I can really use the subscriptions and the sharing and all of that. And if you want to see something different, or if you've been here, or if you want to see something different, leave me a comment down below and I'll be happy to get back with you. And you know, if you say, hey, go look at this or go look at that, I'll do my best, because I like to see new things. So remember guys, life is a journey, so enjoy.